Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Practically Creative. I'm Melissa. I am doing something today that I've actually kind of done before. I'm going to do an Old Maid's Puzzle block. And the reason that I'm doing this block is because I am doing part of Dawn's quilt along at my quilt projects. And I am just going to start right here with the block itself. I have made an Old Maid's Puzzle block before, but when I made it a 10 and a half or 12 and a half inch size. And this one is way smaller. It's only 6.5 inches finished. So the first thing I need for this is I need a 4-inch square. And I'm going to be cutting this down to 3.5. I'm going to be cutting this down to 3.5 after we do some other things to it. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm cutting a 4-inch square, and I'm going to cut it in half diagonally. Time to change the rotary cutter blade. Seems like I'm always changing my rotary cutter blade. All right, so there's my 2 pieces for that. I'm going to be using white as my background fabric, and the other main color is going to be this blue here. It's got a little bit of yellow in it, so I think that it goes okay. And what I need out of this is 6 blocks or 6 half square triangles that are 2 inches each. And because I am that person, I'm going to cut 6 2.5 inch pairs. And then I'm going to sew them diagonally and make my HSTs. And then I'll square my HSTs down to 2 inches each. I did iron and starch all of my fabric before I started here. And the reason I'm doing 2.5 is because I have 2.5 inch strips. So I need 6 HSTs total. So 1, 2, 3 at 2.5 each will give me my total of 6. And then I'm going to take that blue out of here. And then I need 4 white background squares at 2 inches each. I'm going to cut the selvage end off of this strip that I'm working with. And I'm going to cut 4 2.5 by 2 inch squares. And then I'm going to trim those down to 2 inches. So these are all going to get trimmed down to 2 inches. And you can see I've laid it on my cutting mat so that both sides are overlapping the lines. And that's just so I get an accurate cut and nothing ends up being wonky. Okay, so we have our 4. Well, that one wanted to jump, didn't it? White squares. We have our 3 HST squares. And let me grab my pen. I'm going to mark these even though I don't normally need to. But this is such a small block that I want to make sure that I do accurate piecing. So I'm just marking from corner to corner. I'm just doing a light mark. You may not even be able to see it on camera. I just want enough so that I can see it whenever I'm sewing. And I'm marking on the lighter fabric. Okay, so here we are back at the cutting table. I chain piece these, so I'm just taking them apart. And in the instructions, Dawn recommends a scant quarter-inch seam. So I used a very scant quarter-inch seam. Mine's probably closer to an eighth. So there's one. Well, there's two. There's four. And six. I need to bring my ironing mat back up here for just a minute. And I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but that is Discord going crazy. I should have muted my computer. I'm sorry. And I'm just going to open my HSTs up. A pair of tweezers would be really handy today. And you'll notice that I'm ironing everybody to the dark side. So how this is going to lay out is you're going to have two here. I have to go look at my cheater picture here. And I do still have to trim these. But I know that I'm missing. Okay, and what I'm missing is 1, 2, 3. So I need two more 2-inch pieces. See, there's a reason that I lay things out before we start. So let me cut those 2-inch pieces. And square that up to 2 inches. And so now what I need to do is I need to square all of my little HSTs up to 2 inches. Some of you will see there is a piece of tape on my ruler to mark the 45-degree angle. I'm trying to keep that straight. And I'm just dropping my little Now what I did was I lined up my 2-inch ruler marks to be able to do this. And now we are going to put our 4 little blocks together, and I'm just moving that over out of the way. For the 4 patches, they're going to be really simple to do. Okay, so now that everything is ironed, let's make sure they're all squared up to 3.5. And that one is 3.5. And I'm just using one of the little squares on my mat to tell me if it's there. This side's a little over. And even up the other side, because that's where the overage is. Just to get that square. Basically going to square this one up and then look at how big it is. In case anybody hasn't guessed yet, I am not a perfectionist quilter. The reason I took on this size, even though it's not my preferred size, is kind of to demonstrate how good Dawn's directions are, because I'm sure they're good. And I'm just looking at the picture to make sure that I have it all laid out properly. Close that rotary cuff. All right, now we're going to sew the 2 halves of our block together. Okay, so we've got everything sewn together. Here's my block. I'm going to lay it out here, and I'm going to give it some love, some starch, and some iron. I think that it's heat love that I keep hearing. Mine's a wee bit wonky. That is not Dawn's fault. That's my fault. But here's my block. That's the Old Maid's Puzzle block. I have no idea if there's symbolism in there or why it's called an Old Maid's Puzzle block. But I think it's gorgeous. I like the colors. Let me give it a little trim over here just so everything's all square. You know, it's got to be ready for its pictures. Then I'll show you guys again. All right, there it is. All squared up, all sewn up, and all put together. A little more iron to make sure everything goes where it's supposed to go. And that is a Old Maid's Puzzle block. It is, sorry Dawn, 6¼ inches by 6 inches. It's probably supposed to be 6 by 6, but I had fun making it. I hope you'll have fun. And please go over and check out Dawn at My Quilt Projects. On her channel, she's doing a no name yet quilt along. And I don't want to do the 100 blocks that she's doing, but my friends and I thought we'd pick out a few of her blocks and do them and see how everything went. We're enjoying it. Dawn gives good instructions, and she's actually got templates if you want to cut this out using a Brothers Scan and Cut or a silhouette. But if you like what you see, please give me a like, a subscribe, maybe share it, and invite your friends to come along and watch the videos. Have a great day, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.